Welcome to So Into Bourbon, everybody. I'm Glenn. This is Charlie. Charlie, tell them what we're doing tonight.
Tonight, we have a wonderful offering from Peerless Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky. Peerless Double Oaked Single Barrel Rye.
Ooh. Okay, Peerless Double Oaked Rye.
Single barrel.
Single barrel.
Yes.
Uncut, unfiltered,
Barrel proof.
sweet mash.
Strictly sweet mash. Non-chill filtered. Literally everything. All of those phrases are important and wonderful.
Yes, they are, and I am really looking forward to this. This is the third Double Oaked Rye release from Peerless 2023. Not the third in 2023, but the third release, and it happens to have been released in 2023, just to clarify.
And this was purchased where?
At the distillery.
And we got
I believe he said there was like 2 or 3 left.
almost the last.
Yeah.
Very excited because Peerless has made a name for themselves with their double oaked products. Their double oaked bourbon and the double oaked rye, which is even rarer than the double oaked bourbon.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this because we did the double oaked bourbon last year, and that was really good.
We did excellent, and we are both big fans of double oaked. We like, I don't know if there's a double oaked product that we don't like.
Big fans of rye.
Big fans of rye, and big fans of Peerless. And fun story, a couple of years ago, purchased the first single barrel rye that Peerless ever produced, and it was for Total Wine. And I got it and I drank it.
How'd you like it?
It was great. It was only 2 years old and it was still pretty dang good because rye, if you know anything about rye versus bourbon, it matures a little faster. It was pretty darn good. And it comes in the most beautiful bourbon bottle ever in the history
Love their
of
bottles.
existence. It's ridiculous. And it's everything about it is perfect. It's old timey, just everything. The sticker, the font, I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. This is 111 proof. I am so excited. Can we stop talking and do some drinking, or do we have to talk about it first?
Okay. Just a couple more things. 111 proof, age, non-age stated, but we know
It's at least 4 years.
that it's at least 4 years old because there is no age statement on it, and by law, that's what that means. So, price.
That's the rub, right?
Yeah. $154 I paid for this at the distillery. So I'm not upset about that as of yet. I have high hopes for this. I believe that this is going to live up to its price and that we're going to love it.
It's a high ceiling. It's a high ceiling, but we're going.
The very first thing I noticed with this is
purple.
The color. A lot of times you'll see bourbon in the bottle
in a
and it
stubby
looks
bottle.
so dark.
Yeah.
And then you pour it and it's like, ooh, it's not as dark as I thought. This pretty much looks exactly like it does in a bottle. It is dark.
It's almost red.
Yeah.
Like it has a red hue. Like I've seen wine finished bourbons and ryes, whiskeys, not as reddish hue as this.
Purplish red. Like almost like is it plum?
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. And it puts this funky little ring at the top.
And it just kind of sticks there.
Yeah.
Well, it's running down. It's got some legs there.
Syrupy.
Can we smell it?
Yeah.
Oh. It smells really nice.
Get a little of that rye spice. And then some vanilla from that kind of double oak familiar vanilla sweetness.
Yeah, a little burnt. And I believe everything that Peerless does, they do in toasted barrels. Which I'm picking up a little bit of that toast.
Well, I was going to say, I mentioned it kind of looked like a finished, which it is. It's twice barrel. We get it. But I do get a little bit of that almost musty, like a wine.
Say it. What were you going to say? A grape? Like a musty grape?
Yeah, a musty grape, like a wine, like a dried wine.
Which makes you wonder. We don't know what the second barrel is. I don't know.
The second barrel is rye whiskey twice single barreled in new oak. So
Okay,
these
so
are
2 new
not,
oak,
this is
okay.
not a finished
So
product.
that's interesting.
But it's funny that I get that nose there.
Yeah.
All right, let's
get into it.
Let's do this.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh. Big, spicy peppery. Ooh.
It's sweet up front, peppery on the back end.
Like literally peppery.
Crisp. It almost feels cold in your mouth. And I don't know, that's the only way I can describe it, is that crispness. I love everything about this. Love it.
I have never in my life ever drank a bourbon or a rye, a whiskey, and immediately been like, that tastes like cracked black pepper. And that is
Yeah,
that is the note
on the finish.
That's unbelievable. But you hit the nail on the head. It's got this kind of, not overly sweet, but just enough sweetness on the front, because I feel like if that wasn't there, it may be a bit over oaked, but you get a little bit of sweetness and then that kind of spicy black pepper, and then you're left with that nice kind of just oaky, tannic, really nice, really unique offering.
Yeah. At first, when you said over oaked, I was like, no, I don't think that at all. And I know you didn't say it was over oaked, but you said if the sweetness wasn't there. But yeah, that sweetness up front just perfectly balances with the oak and the spice from the rye.
Because she's oaky. I had that oaky and smoky.
You know, oaky, but a really good oaky.
It really, but
I don't get
flavorful. I mean,
yeah.
just
the oak is there, but it's not that bitter oak that makes you want to.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not like mouth puckering, but it is definitely there, and it just lingers. But on this most recent drink, I really swirled it around, like in my mouth, like really, and it's fun, and I highly recommend you do it, because when you really get that thing swirling around, you get these little splashes of that sweetness on like the side of your tongue and kind of the back middle, it's just there, and then it goes real quick. But that sweetness is just enough that you're like, ooh, and then you're left with this smoky, oaky, peppery, just lingering flavor.
Now I'm getting some chocolate, and I'm gonna have to go back and agree with you now on the oak, because now I'm getting more of the oak, and it's almost like a wine. The oakiness is almost like the oakiness you would get from a wine,
from like a Cabernet.
Really dry wine. Yep. Which is interesting because we kind of picked that up on the nose as well, and this hasn't been nowhere near a wine barrel, right?
We are not real great at.
Yeah, we're not tasting professionals. Right. We know what we like.
I love bottles that, number one, reward. You know, $154 is not a small amount of money to pay, so being rewarded in something that's great and unique. And then number two, bottles that surprise and give you an experience that you just, I'm trying to think of what I would compare this to. And I literally cannot come up with anything, because if I was like, oh, well, I could compare it to like a sherry cask or a Cabernet finished, but it doesn't have the sweetness that those have, and it's not a finished product. It just...
Well, let me ask you this. We recently did a review on the Angel's Envy cask strength rye, which I know that's kind of a different animal than this, but it was finished in wine barrels, right?
Well, half of that batch was finished with, so that was a batched. Some of that was finished in Takai wine casks. Others were just toasted. Maybe, I wonder if it's the toasted that is giving it that character.
Yeah.
Either way,
how do you compare it to that? I mean,
well,
I know 2 different animals, but I love this.
This is
now I'm getting those.
This is a phenomenal bottle.
Semi-sweet chocolate notes.
The Angel's Envy cast strength rye is very good, but it's very familiar as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can drink it and it reminds you of, I've had it because it's MGP, it's 95.5. There is a familiarity about it and a softness that comes from that wine finish. This is a double oaked madman. And at 111 proof, it's just proofy enough that it gives you that kind of kick. But I'm somewhat at a loss for words of how much I enjoy this and how truly unique this is.
It is unique. It's really good. Right.
8.5.
That's
8.5.
That's some high praise.
Well, it's my rating system.
Yeah.
It's an 8.5 because I
break down your rating system.
How I feel at that moment. If you've watched our show, you understand my rating system.
There's
means
no
nothing.
method to the madness.
It's an 8. You know what? Screw you. 8.55. I genuinely love this bottle. I have never experienced this. Yep. That's all I've got to say.
I feel like it gets better with every sip. So I'm going to rate it now.
You rate it now.
And I'm going to agree. It's an 8.5. Hate to do that, but it's been a while since we've rated something that high.
And I am taking all things into consideration. I am taking into consideration the price. I am taking into consideration the availability and what it is and who it is. And I understand that this is probably 4 years old in one day. And I don't care because it is everything you want. This is one of those bottles of why you drink whiskeys, like why you got into this hobby, because it is just a cascading flavor.
It's a phenomenal bottle. We got one of the last ones from 2023.
So you're all poop out of luck.
I will be watching. I get emails from Peerless. I'll be watching for 2024.
They just this past week announced that the double oaked bourbon is back in stock at the distillery. I do not know if it is still there. We may need to go over there tomorrow and see. Check. But I'm
totally worth the price.
Yes,
that's one I will not complain about paying $154.
I think it also goes to show that they have kind of, some distilleries kind of hang their hat on things, and Peerless is still, I would say a craft distillery. They're still very small. Yeah. I think they would say they're a craft distillery. Maybe the kings of double oaked.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm so excited. As soon as we're done, I'm going to drink more of Glenn's $154 bottle.
All right, Charlie. Let's end this bad boy before we just gush and gush and gush and pour another glass of this.
Do we have to?
Yeah. Tell them what to do.
You got to subscribe to the YouTubes because that's how you get more hard-hitting Peerless content like you just watched.
And check us out on socials. So in the Bourbon, Facebook and Instagram, and on TikTok at Whiskey Realtor.
That's right. We post funny stuff all the time. We're very humorous.
I mean, some people think we're funny.
Yeah.
By some people, I mean me and Charlie.
We think we're funny. And most of all, and the most important thing, remember, keep your wallets loose.
And your bumholes tight.
Good night, everybody.
Peace out.
Peer into the abyss.
Do you know what peerless means?
Means
without peer.
Yeah, I remember that now because I was really confused for our first episode. I was like, what are you talking about? What does that even mean?
All right. You know what? We are idiots without peer.
That's right. Nobody can idiot more than we can. wonder
so adept.
I wonder how many bourbon bottles
You've opened.
in my life. That was another good pop.
Now that
It was dark.
that does not disappoint.
That looks like maple.
That looks exactly like it does in the bottle. That's beautiful. Beautiful. What are you laughing at?
Intrusive thoughts.
funny.
Just intrusive.
Again?
That's what happens when you have dysentery.
Don't be dissing me.
Don't be dysentery.
All right, are we ready?
Yep, Kentucky Peerless.
3, 2, 1, action.